Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, a small town in Upper Austria. His father, Alois Hitler, was born out of wedlock to Maria Anna Schicklgruber. For most of his early life, Alois used his mother's surname until he legally changed it, and in the process, the name of his stepfather, Heidler, was misspelled as Hitler. A severe-looking and bad-tempered Alois is reported as the customs official who rose from the ranks to become an inspector. Clara Pölzl, Adolf's mother, was born from a peasant family. At the age of 24, Clara married Alois in 1885, while Alois was 47. She was pious and a good woman. However, their home life was not at all peaceful. Alois frequently abused her verbally and sometimes physically. He also often spent time drinking in the taverns. It has been reported that Hitler was a Jew. This theory stems from the unclear identity of Alois Hitler's father. Maria Anna, in her 40s at the time, worked as a cook in the household of Leopold Frankenberger, a Jewish man who allegedly provided financial support for Alois. While this claim was investigated by Nazi official Hans Frank in the 1930s, no conclusive evidence emerged. A DNA study in 2010 suggested the possibility of Jewish heritage, but this remains unconfirmed. Adolf's early years were marked by tragedy. 3 of his full siblings, Gustav, Ida, and Otto, died in infancy between 1887 and 1888, leaving Adolf as Clara's eldest surviving child. She doted on him, possibly contributing to the narcissistic tendencies he displayed later in life. His relationship with Alois, however, was deeply strained. Alois had envisioned Adolf as a civil servant, but Adolf did badly at school and was not interested in his studies. The tension between father and son only came to an end when Alois died in 1903. After his father's death, Hitler moved to Vienna in 1907 with a hope of becoming an artist. However, he was twice rejected by the Academy of Fine Arts Vienna. This period in Vienna was an important shaping time for his views. It was a multicultural hub of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and the city presented him with widespread anti-Semitic and nationalist sentiments that were all around him in Europe at that time. Between 1907 and 1913, Hitler lived in poverty. He took odd jobs, often residing in homeless shelters. Many historians believe that his vehement anti-Semitism and hatred of various groups other than Germans cohered during these difficult times. In 1913, Hitler went to Munich, and when World War I finally erupted in 1914, he enlisted in the German army. He was a messenger on the Western Front, where he was gassed and temporarily blinded in an attack in 1918. His experiences during the war were clearly traumatic, and many believe that he suffered from a form of PTSD. After his return to Munich following the defeat of Germany, he faced political instability, the economic consequences of the war, and the Treaty of Versailles, which forced high reparations on Germany. In this period, Hitler entered politics by joining the German Workers' Party in 1919. The party eventually transformed into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, popularly known as the Nazi Party, with Hitler at its helm. Hitler soon became famous as a powerful orator who was able to attract supporters with his speeches blaming Jews, communists, and the Treaty of Versailles for Germany's problems. In 1923, Hitler and the Nazis tried to take over through the unsuccessful beer hall putsch in Munich. He was arrested, tried for treason, and put in prison. While serving his time, he wrote Mein Kampf, defining his ideology of Aryan superiority and outlining plans for the future of Germany. He emerged from prison, restaffed the Nazi Party, and began to focus the party's efforts on becoming a power through the vote. The party's paramilitary wings, which were the SA, stormtroopers, and then the SS, used violence and coercion to achieve its ends. A combination of economic crisis triggered by the Great Depression in 1929, promising economic recovery, restoring national pride, and scapegoating minorities put the Nazis in a better position to gain electoral popularity. In 1933, Hitler was appointed the Chancellor of Germany. Following the fire at the Reichstag, he implemented the Enabling Act that authorized him to govern by decree. From here on, Hitler centralized the government, eliminated democratic structures, and brought into being a totalitarian state. The Nuremberg Laws of 1935 legitimized anti-Semitic policies as the state stripped the Jews of citizenship and basic rights. His aggressive foreign policy annexed Austria in 1938, Anschluss, as well as the occupation of Czechoslovakia. Hitler launched an attack on Poland on September 1, 1939, where Germany invaded it. As a response, Britain and France declared war, thus marking the beginning of World War II. As the war progressed, Hitler continued his final solution: the systematic genocide of Europe's Jewish population. By 1945, 6 million Jews had been murdered in Nazi death camps like Auschwitz and Treblinka. Germany's fortunes turned with significant defeats at Stalingrad in 1943 and the Allied invasion of Normandy in 1944. By 1945, with Soviet forces closing in on Berlin, Hitler retreated to his bunker. On April 30, 1945, he committed suicide alongside Eva Braun, his longtime partner.